Good morning, people. Back for another video. So today, I wanted to talk about casinos, or more specifically, what do they call them? Slots. Now, when I first got into match betting, which was not too long ago, slots to me were kind of like a real mugs game, right? Because it's like, how can you actually make any profit at all by just spinning reels or whatever? It was a total, like, I was just completely not interested in it, right? So I kind of ignored them for a bit. But then I started reading stuff on, I think it was Profit Accumulator and OddsMonkey sites, and I was kind of like, this is interesting, because with slots, basically, I think you're crazy to ignore them, because I think there's tons of profit. And over the past, last night, basically, over the sort of the past 12 hours, I've kind of profited from these quite nicely, and they've been relatively low risk, and I'll go into why that is. But so, as a little story, I got an email yesterday from TonyBet. I've got my notes over here, so if I keep looking, that's why. I got an email from TonyBet, and TonyBet said, it's happy hour. You've got 10 free spins on Universal Monsters, The Phantom's Curse, whatever the hell that thing is. So I was like, okay, it's fine. So I clicked on the link, and then you get like this Wheel of Fortune thing. You can see it here, kind of thing in the background. And you click on the button, and when you click on the button, it takes you to this website with the Wheel of Fortune on it, and you can win up to 100 free spins. Now, every time I've done that, I've always won 10 free spins, which is right next to the 100. It always looks like it's going to sit on the 100, but always goes for the 10. So anyway, I won my 10 free spins, and I was like, cool, whatever, just log in and doing them. So I logged in, and I get onto this, what was it called? Universal Monsters, The Phantom's Curse. So I get onto this slot. Now, I don't know much about slots, right? All I know is that you can have the maximum. You can set the number of lines, like the winning lines. So, like, on a normal slot when you were a kid, and you could just win on one line, where it would be just like a line of sevens down the middle or something. And that's the winning line. Whereas on these things, you can kind of set them all over the place. So, you can have lines going up and down here. And obviously, the more lines you've got, the more chances to win you've got. So that's fine. So what they generally say is that you should do max lines, so you've got more chances to win, and the minimum stakes, so you're wagering less each time. So I kind of, I did this, and I just set it going, because there's also an auto spin feature on these things as well. So I just set it going, and I won a tenner. So I was like, okay, that's amazing. I've just won a tenner. I'm pretty happy with that. No problem. But then what these things tend to have is they have what's called a wagering requirement. And I might be teaching you to suck eggs here, because, you might actually know what a wagering requirement is. But the wagering requirement was 35 times. So, but it was 35 times whatever it is that you won. So, for example, in this case, I won a tenner. So the wagering requirement was 35 times. So now I've got to wager through 350 quid. So I've got to wager through 350 quid with a tenner at what was it? It was either 40 or 20p per bet, per spin. I was wagering 40 or 20p. So I'm kind of thinking, well, let's work it out. So I think it was like 350 quid. Divide that by, I think it was 40. No, actually, it was 20. So I had to do that many spins, which was a lot. Or was it 40? I think it was 40, actually, because it seems like an awful lot. I can't remember doing thousands of spins, but I do remember being around like the 800 mark. So I'm like, okay, I've got to do this amount of spins to get through. Now, in the actual casino, in the actual slot itself, you can only set it to do 100 at a time, like automatically. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to set this and then leave it, and then just do it 8 times. And I had like a little tally saying, right, if I'm going to do this 8 or 9 times, and I'm just going to cross them off as it goes through. So I was like, okay, pretty good, no problem. We've got a plan. So the reason you want to do max lines and the minimum stake is because you want to increase your chances of winning, but you want to smooth out what's called the variance. So with a slot, they have something called a return to player percentage. So if you put £100 into a slot, and you play that slot indefinitely, like for an infinite amount of time, then if that slot has a, say, 96% return to player, then if you put £100 in and play it forever, I know you can't do that. If you play it forever, you'll come back with £96, so you'll lose 4. So that's kind of what would happen on average. Now, there is some variance of this because obviously there's an element of luck. So, for example, if you put £100 in, you could go on a horrible losing streak and you could lose like, 30, 40 quid or whatever, just random number. You could just go on a losing streak. You could go on a winning streak and you could gain. So by having it as the minimum amount, then it basically mitigates like massive losing streaks. Because essentially that's what we're trying to do. We're just trying to not bust out. We're just trying to roll through this money. But the disadvantage of doing it this way is that it takes fucking ages. It really does. I mean, it took me absolutely ages. I just kept coming back to it, and coming back to it. So this was a shitty situation. I mean, I'd got this tenner. I wanted to get this tenner out, but I had to wager through that 35 times. So I started wagering through it and just set it going, and then I won again. I got some super mega win or whatever they're called, and it went up to 30 quid. And then it won again, and I think it went up to like 50 quid. And then again, and it went up to like 70 quid. And then again, and it went up to 82 quid, and that was the height of it. And at that point, I was about 3/4 of the way through the wagering requirement. So I'd got 82 quid and I'd not got that much wagering left to do. Probably like, I don't know, 100 quid or something. But I was still doing these tiny spins of like 40p. So what I started doing is I started moving the bet amount up each time. Now, that obviously made my variance a little bit higher, so the amount would go up and down. But I'll be honest, at this point, I was getting so impatient with it because, this had been spinning forever. So anyway, I basically just, did my own thing and just left that spinning away. And I ended up with 50 quid profit. And I guess what I was trying to say in this email is you definitely shouldn't ignore casino offers, especially the ones where they seem like utter dog shit. Like getting an email that says, you've got 10 free spins, and if you win anything, you're then going to have to wager that 35 times was absolutely... I mean, you read that and you just think, no, I'm not even going to attempt that. I mean, I've ignored these most of the time, but I just thought I'll just have a stab at this. So that's what I did. And I ended up 50 quid in profit. So yeah, so that's the first thing that happened yesterday with my little foray into slots. Now the next thing is this other website is TopCashback. So what I'll do is I'll leave a link below where you can sign up to this. If you use my link, I do get a bit of a kickback, just to be sort of transparent with that. But this is actually really good as well, because this is another one that I did. And I did this one on advice from Team Profit on Facebook. And so what you basically do is you sign up for TopCashback, and the idea is when you want to buy something, like last night, me and the missus, we had Chippy Friday, and we ordered from the takeout, and you get, I think it's like 6% you get back. It takes a couple of weeks to come back to you through TopCashback, but you get 6%. So if we spent like, tenner, then you get... I'm just editing this, guys. 60p, for fuck's sake. Jesus, thicko. Yeah, 60p you get back. I'll get there in a minute, but I just, yeah. 60p back. Now, obviously, that's not particularly great in terms of like, it's just 6%, right? But now, if you're going to do these casino offers, you can actually sign up to them in the same way, but via TopCashback. And you can make a fucking killing doing this, right? I wish I'd seen these before, because I've done about half the casino offers now. I really, really, really wish I'd known about this before I signed up to them. So if you go down here to casinos, right, and then if you just scroll down, you've got all these casinos you can sign up for, right? Just all sorts. Look at these. Look at the amount of cashbacks you can get on these. So like, say if you went to, I don't know. In fact, this was the one I did yesterday. This one here, red spins, right? So you click on this and it says, we're welcoming players with a fantastic offer up to £500 bonus plus 53 spins, blah, 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 you know, rubbish, rubbish, rubbish. So what you do is, if you see here, it says new player sign up, minimum deposit and a wager of 30 quid on the sign up. So you click on this link. I'm not going to do it because I've already done it. I did this yesterday. You click on this link, and then when you click on the link, it takes you to Red Spins. You go to Red Spins. Now you deposit 30 quid. And then when you deposit that 30 quid, you then want to wager it using the same technique that I was talking about earlier on. So that's max lines, min stakes. So that means on a slot that's got, say, 97% RTP, which is return to player, that means if you put 100 quid in, you'd get £97 back on a 97% RTP. If you put 30 quid in, I don't know what the number is, but you know, you're going to get most of your money back. Basically, you stand to lose like a fiver or something at the most. So you do this, and then you just wager it through, and then in a couple of weeks, you're just going to get 21 quid for free. So TopCashback will give you this 21 quid for signing up, and you lose about a fiver off your initial deposit. And that's it. You can do that so many times, like on all these different offers, on all these different casinos and stuff. Like, look, there's like ridiculous amounts of pages here. So yeah, so that was my story yesterday. I think I ended up making about 70 quid yesterday just on those two things that I did. I made 50 quid off like an email that I normally just trash, and I made I think it was about 20 quid in total. You know, there's loads of money to be made in casino offers, so totally don't ignore them. I mean, I prefer the slots, but one thing I will say is, if you have the slightest addiction to gambling, then just don't bother. Just don't do any of this. Just, you know, I probably should have said that at the beginning, but if you've got an issue with gambling, don't do this, guys, because these websites are designed to kind of suck you in even more. And if you can't switch off and go, oh, I just have one more spin, I'll just have one more spin. If you can't switch that little voice in your head off, then you're just going to wager it all back again. And that's exactly what they want. You need to have the discipline to go, I'm done, you know, I'm out of here. You might have only wagered £10, £20, whatever, but if you're in profit, you're in profit. Now I'm losing my voice because I've had a cold all week, and I've been talking a lot. But that's it for today, guys. But like I was saying, don't ignore these because these are ace, and let me know how you get on in the comments below. I'll leave links for TopCashback below. If you sign up, please use that link. That'd be perfect because obviously I get a little bit of a reward for that. But yeah, guys, let me know how you get on, and if you like what you see, please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video. So cheers.